We want to get straight to the ground now in Athens, and our Diana Magne. Diana, it looks like we're seeing riot police there, and they're going after these protesters.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're just running away from that tear gas right now. We're caught up in a big demonstration. It was amazing, actually, because for a long time in the main square, there was essentially just a standoff between riot police and a row of protesters. And they were throwing bottles and a few sticks of dynamite at the police, and there was a very tense situation where essentially you were just waiting for something to happen. And then I'm not sure what exactly it was that kicked it off, but the police pushed forward, sprayed tear gas, and now all the demonstrators are being pushed down into the side streets. Thousands of people pouring into the side streets, and they fired tear gas. People are breaking windows in the same style as we saw yesterday during the general strikes. And the demonstrators are moving down the road we've ducked into.
Hey, Diana.
Side streets, and the police are coming down this way, yeah?
Diana, I have to ask you, you sound like you're out of breath, and I'll talk over these pictures until you catch your breath a little bit as we're looking at these riot police. You heard Diana Magne said there were protesters there, thousands of them gathered, and she's not exactly sure what happened. And then police, she said, began spraying tear gas, and then it was chaos there. Diana, as I said, I want you to catch your breath here. What about your safety? You weren't sprayed, were you? Are you okay?
Our safety is fine at present. We're okay. It is one of those situations where the main streets are full of demonstrators and the riot police push down the main streets. But if you duck down side alleys, which we have done, you can escape that. You just get clouds of tear gas, which is fairly unpleasant, or pepper spray, but nothing to worry about. But yes, it was.
I imagine the force of the crowd sort of pushed you through as well, so when they started running, you had to do it as well. So, Diana, again, catch your breath a little bit. We're going to talk about this for a time, so we have some time here. And we're going to say this is happening because people are taking to the streets because they're upset over the government putting in place all of these new things. They passed a lot of dramatic measures. They have hiked taxes there. They have cut pay there. They have upped the retirement age there. So people are really fed up. Look at that. You see live pictures of burning on the street. Back now to our reporter, Diana Magne, who got caught up in what can only be perceived as a riot there. She said that they were spraying pepper spray and tear gas. I'll give it back to you now, Diana.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly these things spark, you know. That happened really in the space of 1 minute. Suddenly the square full of thousands of people was cleared. I can see burning on the street in front of me, presumably a petrol bomb. These are scenes similar to what we saw yesterday. There were general strikes here in Athens yesterday, tens of thousands of people on the streets. And those strikes culminated in 3 people, bank employees, being killed when a petrol bomb was thrown into their bank. So there's been significant violence here, and this is just another sign of that.
I want to tell Diana that our viewers that we're looking at live pictures from Athens now, and that's exactly where our reporter Diana Magne is there, and you see the riot police on the street. And these pictures, again, riot police, pepper spray, tear gas, it's virtual chaos going on there. Diana Magne, I want to ask you this. You said 3 people died yesterday for a petrol bomb. How many deaths overall in this do we even know now?
Oh, absolutely. No, it is 3 deaths and 3 deaths only. And all of this protest is a result of this austerity package, these new very severe spending cuts that the government is having to implement because of its massive debt. And that bill just passed the Parliament today, and that is why all these thousands of protesters have come out to protest those measures which are going to significantly cut their spending power. But I mean, 3 deaths in a European capital is very, very significant. Riots do not normally claim lives here in Europe.
So listen, the vote took place earlier today. Is that right, Diana?
No, this was riots that took place yesterday. Yesterday was a general strike called by the main unions here, and about 25,000 people came onto the streets to protest. And the rioting broke out pretty much immediately. They gathered at around 11 o'clock Athens time. By 12, the riots were in full force. And they continued for a couple of hours, just waves of tear gas from police, followed by the crowds pushing back. But what the unions have said today is obviously the people who threw the petrol bomb into this bank were anti-capitalist anarchists, and they do not represent the vast majority of people who had come out to strike yesterday.
Yeah, and what I was saying, the protests, we know they started earlier in the week, Diana. I was talking about the vote was earlier today. That vote was 172 in favor, 121 against these three abstentions that we're calling. Remember we talked to you yesterday in our segment about austerity measures? That's exactly what they passed today. And so during that vote, the rioters could be seen going out on the streets, and then after the vote, just a short time ago, we have these new pictures in now from Greece of the protests there. I'm Don Lemon here at CNN World Headquarters in Atlanta, but on the streets of Athens is our reporter Diana Magne, who is there at one of these protests, got caught up in one of the riots. As you can see there, look, riot police in formation. Diana Magne, you witnessed all of this. Take us to the scene now. What did you see?
Okay, well, I'm now seeing a line of riot police in front of them, protesters who were booing them. This is what they've been doing all along in front of the Parliament, in front of the Parliament building where this very unpopular package was going before parliamentarians. The protesters were shouting, "Thieves, thieves, burn down the Parliament," chanting that kind of thing. I'm now seeing a fire probably set by a petrol bomb to my right, and a long way down the street, protesters holding up banners and the riot police moving down towards them. And it's been said that people here in Athens are very used to violent protests. This is quite normal for them. Yesterday in the general strike, people came out prepared with gas masks, just small white masks, and some people proper gas masks because they knew that tear gas would be used. But certainly to see death like we did yesterday on the streets of Athens is very, very unusual.
Yeah.
John?
Listen, the two unions here have called the workers to meet on Thursday evening in front of Parliament to protest the measures there. And Athens police said they expected about 5,000 protesters. I would imagine that this was a culmination of that. And just to give you an idea of before we go back to Jenna, what they're protesting, we talked about wages, lowering wages, increasing the retirement age. And really this is just sort of, luxury taxes and things that affect your life, quality of life things that have been added here. More taxes on cigarettes, pay purchases, gambling, fuel, and on, luxuries, an increase in the value-added tax consumers pay on purchases like that, and an increase in the retirement age for women in the public sector. So these people are not happy about it, and we talk in this country, we see the protests happening, and we see the people outraged by big government and the Tea Parties. Nothing ever like this, though. This is what happens when it gets at its worst. Diana Magne witnessing all of this, witnessing the riots, the police. Diana, what are you seeing right now?
Hi, Don. Well, now the situation seems to have calmed. I'm not seeing any more tear gas. The demonstrators are moving down the road. The riot police have moved on towards them. You described these benefit cuts as sort of luxuries, and you're right about that. It's strange. I've been talking to demonstrators who've come out the last couple of days, and I've said, why are you here? And they've been saying, I don't want to have to retire at 60, at 65. I was owed my retirement at 55, and I want that. And you'll say, well, most people retire much later. And they say, yeah, but I've worked for 30 years, and it's my due. So these are benefits that a lot of other people in Europe don't understand, a lot of people in the States won't understand. But one thing that is a difficulty for people here is that they have a very low base salary. So when these benefits are taken away from them, they're left with really not very much in comparison to the rest of Europe, and that's what makes them believe that their spending power is being significantly cut whilst the cost of living is going up, and that's why we're seeing these people on the streets now.
Mm-hmm. And you're saying it appears they're dispersing, or they're moving down the street. They could be moving to another location. This has been happening for days, and it really is no indication, I would imagine, at this point that there are any signs of slowing. Hey, Diana, describe to us where you are. I think you said that this was a square or a street that is right across from the Parliament building. Tell us where you are.
Yeah, we were in the main Parliament Square. It's called Constitution Square, and it's in front of the Parliament building where lawmakers were debating past that bill today. Around that square there are various big streets, one of them completely sealed off by riot police. And it's interesting because every day at a particular time, at this very heated time in Greece, the riot police have come out in the afternoon and sealed off that street with their buses. But what's happened now is that all the demonstrators have moved down these side streets. I'm not sure what pictures you're seeing of the main square now, but I presume it's cleared. That's what happened during the general strike yesterday when the police pushed everyone out of that main square and into the side streets where you had this endless wave of rioting. We've been trying to assess the police strategy, and it does seem to be one where essentially they stay to the side for as long as they can. They try and to be as unprovocative as they can, and then suddenly when they start to move, you know that you've got to get out of the way, because once they're moving, you can expect tear gas, pepper spray, that kind of thing. Don.
Diana Magne reporting to us live from Athens, Greece. She said she is right across, she's in Constitution Square, right in front of the Parliament building where they have been debating these added taxes and really this big government plan to try to boost their economy there. When Diana first came to us, she was out of breath. She was caught up in all of this, had to run from the pepper spray and the tear gas that you saw live here on CNN, riot police there spraying on people. Now you see someone there, just walked out of the screen with a fire extinguisher trying to put out fires, rioting on the streets of Greece because of what's happening with their government.